Hello everyone, Manufa Collectibles here with yet another Hot Toys posing video. And today we're gonna do 10 poses for the one and only Spider-Man upgraded suit. Guys, as promised, the Unboxing the review hit more than 100 likes, and here we have with this awesome posing session. But before we start, if you want to get this figure or any other Day 1 releases, make sure you check out Day 1 Collectibles, link in the description below. Make sure you use the code MOHC so you can save 5% store-wide, so don't forget to use the code. Also, if you are new to the channel and you want to check out the latest Hot Toys releases, posting videos, figure previews, and now comparison videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification icon so you don't miss anything. Alright guys, enough with the talking, we came here to see the 10 poses, so without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so this is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna show you the 10 poses, so at any time of the video you can pose it, go forward, backwards, whatever you want to do, and let me know in the comments below which one of the 10 poses was your favorite. I'm gonna tell you that we're gonna start very easy and then we're gonna do a bunch of dynamic poses, so stay tuned to the very end because I have a surprise, the after credits, so make sure you check it out. Alright guys, I started with pose number 1. As I said before, I wanted to start very easy, and here we have Peter Parker with the glasses, Edith, and of course the drone. I have to tell you that this pose was very simple to achieve, really nothing crazy, nothing fancy, but I think it does look very nice. Make sure when you use the glasses that you gently put it on Peter Parker so you don't damage the head sculpt. Alright guys, moving on to pose number 2. I needed to do the walking pose. I know my friend posing with Peter is the master of walking poses, so I try my best to do this pose. It does look very nice. I was very surprised that this figure has a very good balance, so don't worry, you will be able to achieve this pose with no tricks, nothing crazy. You can see I have Peter Parker holding the mask on one hand and of course the cell phone on the other hand. Overall, I think this one looks very nice and definitely a pose that you may want to use on your shelf. That's Peter Parker, ladies and gents, and that's basically it for pose number 2. Alright guys, so now we're gonna move on to the next pose, and I have to tell you, we're gonna start doing a bunch of dynamic poses, so I really hope you guys like it. Alright guys, so moving on to pose number 3, I have to do a superhero landing with this figure, and a couple of tips. When you do this pose, make sure that you bend the knees and the arms gently because the suit may get stretched or maybe some of the stitches can, broke. So just be very careful when you do this pose. I was very surprised that with this Spider-Man figure you actually can do a lot, and I did push to the limit. So you'll see throughout the course of the video that I did really cool dynamic poses with no issues whatsoever. Now, I do not recommend to leave your figures in crazy dynamic poses because it will stretch the suit and over time you may damage it. So just be warned, just be very careful when you handle this figure. And that's basically it for pose number 3. Alright guys, so moving on to the next pose, pose number 4. You can see here Spider-Man flying with the wings. Now these wings are magnetic, so it's really not that hard to put on and off. I know that in my unboxing and review video I made a mistake with the wings. I put it actually the wrong way, so this was kind of like my do-over. So I really hope you guys like it. Now I have a couple of tips for you. When you do this pose, first of all, you cannot put the clamp on the waist because you can't. As you can see, the wings are too tight next to the body, so you may want to put it like this so you can actually hold the figure on top. I think this will prevent you to damage the suit, which obviously it is the point, right? And I think this pose looks very cool. That's basically it for pose number 4. Alright guys, moving on to the next pose, pose number 5. Pose number 5 guys, we have here Spider-Man jumping. You can see the legs that I bend them. Just be very careful when you do this pose because of the wrinkles on the suit. When I was doing it, I was pushing the pants just a little bit up, so not all the wrinkles are accumulated in the knees, just rather on the joints on between the legs. And I think it does look very nice. Guys, and you're still watching this video, please don't forget to like because liking this video helps a lot. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future Hot Toys releases. Alright guys, moving on to this pose, I use the clamp. Be very careful when you put it because you don't want to damage the suit. And that's basically it for pose number 5. Alright, so moving on to the next pose, pose number 6. We have Spiderman jumping from building to building. That was the idea. You can see here that it is very dynamic as well. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I was pushing this figure to the limits to see how well the suit resists this type of poses. And I have to tell you guys that this figure holds very, very nice. You can see this pose here, Spider-Man with the spider web on one hand, and of course the legs that I make it look like he's jumping in the air. You need to use the dynamic pull for this, so be very careful when you use the clamp because, as I said before, you don't want to damage the suit. If you have a piece of cloth, by all means you can put it and wrap it around so you prevent from damaging your figure. And that's basically it for pose number 6. Alright guys, so moving on to the next pose, pose number 7. And I have to tell you guys, this is one of my favorite poses in the entire video. As you can see, this is a very dynamic pose, and some of the challenges I faced was the articulation. And even though you can do these poses, by all means you can't, you need to be very careful and take your time when you do these poses because you want it to look natural. At the same time, you want to make sure that you don't damage any parts of the suit. I was very careful when I was doing this. I was looking at the in between the legs to the body, so those stitches doesn't open up, and I think I accomplished my goal to make it look this cool. And another tip that I have for you guys, make sure you use all the accessories or everything you have at your disposal because that's gonna help you to be creative, especially with the Spider-Man figure. Alright guys, moving on to the next pose, pose number 8. I have to do the selfie pose because, we have the cell phone, we need to take advantage of that accessory. And here we have a Spider-Man jumping again and taking a selfie. Well, even though the camera, or the cell phone rather, is showing a text message, which is very detailed by the way, still, I think it does look very nice. This pose was very simple to do. Again, be very careful when you do the pose, especially this dynamic for the legs, for the arms, so it doesn't damage the suit. Now take your time. You can definitely lift the arms as high as you want, but there's some limits, and just be very, very careful. I think this pose looks very nice, and I did accomplish my goal of the selfie pose. And that's basically it for pose number 8. Alright guys, so moving on to the next pose, pose number 9, and have to borrow the accessory from my other figure, the homemade suit Spider-Man. And as you can see, we have the big drone and Spidey on top of it. I think this pose looks very, very badass, and it took me some time to do this because the balancing, number 1, and of course because the drone, even though it's big, it is not that long. So for the legs, it was giving me hard time to balance this figure, and I think it does look very nice. I think the goal was to make it look like he just landed on top of the drone, and I think I did the job. I really hope you guys enjoyed this pose because honestly, it does look badass. Alright guys, and then we're gonna move to the last pose of the day, pose number 10. I had to include all the figures from the Far From Home movie, starting with the homemade suit, Spider-Man, Peter Parker aka Night Monkey, and of course the upgraded suit on the top. And I think these 3 figures look super cool together, and I can wait for Mysterio and any other Spider-Man figures. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also guys, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway very soon in our Facebook group 6 Skill Media, so make sure you become a member today. I put the link in the description below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, link also in the description below, and check out Day One Collectibles with all the latest Hot Toys releases, and use the code MOHC so you can save some money. So don't forget to use the code. A quick shout out to my friend Easy Company Collectibles, Sergio from Gemini Toys, Fabio from Fast Figures, and of course you, because without you I would not be here. And if you have some time, check out these 2 cool videos. And as always, be well, and see you around in the next video. And that's basically it for post number 9 of